Hello everyone, and welcome to another of Dorset and Guernsey's YouTubes. This one is with Christmas in mind, and I've entitled it Strictly Christmas. Now, to start off with, Christmas to me being strictly Christmas should be holly and ivy and sparkles and glitter. So I've started setting this up for you on one of these square frames and a block of Oasis, and I've used a holly rope here which I have made. Now I'm just going to lift this down and I'm actually going to talk you through how I've gone about the holly rope. I take some of the aluminium wire and a pair of pliers, and I literally just squeeze the end tight, bend. I'm trying to get it tucked in really tight, and then I just start working round in a spiral. Work it round and round. So I've got like a little Swiss roll sort of, as it gets more and more, you get it big enough, you can actually start doing it round freehand. So we have a little spiral. I then take my pliers, pull or push, whichever's the easiest, the centre out, and then I do a little bend up. But in true Blue Peter style, I've got one here I made earlier, and I take my wire cutters or sharp scissors and I cut the wire at an angle, so I've got quite a sharp point on there. And then I just take my holly leaves and I keep on threading them on. Because I personally don't find holly one of the easiest of things to actually use in stem form like this. I don't find putting that in, I don't find it's the easiest thing. You don't have to worry about the sizes, you don't have to worry. All I do, if they are slightly imperfect, this is another way you can use them. You can make it as long and as short as you want. So I don't want to totally bore you by standing and doing the whole length. And of course, being on the wire, you can bend it and manipulate it, which is what I've done around the frame. So that's the first technique. Oh, what I didn't show you was that you will find that if you make it quite long, and the weight of the holly leaves will spin round. So I usually take a piece of barbecue skewer and some tape, and I just tape it together. You've got now a form that will most probably bind in the Oasis, and adding the tape will also make it bind in the Oasis, and it's less likely to spin round and round. I most probably would tape it back up again. And that's how I went about the holly. And it's a job, if you cut all your holly leaves off and you put them into a little bowl or box, and then in the evenings when you're sat there watching the television, you can just thread them on. So that was the first technique I wanted to show you. And the second technique, I need my wax, please. What I'm actually going to show you now is something a little bit different. I bought for you, all I've done this arrangement with is out of a £5 bunch of roses from Tesco's. I'll have it onto there. And this rose has been waxed and then covered in glitter, and this is one of the ones we're going to use. But I can just show you that this one was waxed a week ago, and in the arrangement this rose was alongside it. Now that is the difference, and it does last. I've had these last for a fortnight over Christmas, and all I do is take the rose and quickly go in, out, into the warm wax. Just finished, it can go again. And then I've got a little plate here, a little pot of glitter, and I just glitter around, shake off the excess, and I'm on one glittered rose. So those two have got to go in the box. So that's our second technique. So now I'm going to get on and actually assemble the whole thing for you. This is actually being recorded when we've now gone into the second lockdown. And I'm afraid I didn't get out and do a lot of my Christmas shopping. So I've had to raid what I had in my shed and bits and pieces that I've picked up when I've been dog walking. And we were out last weekend, and in the normal little place where we go dog walking, I picked up this beautiful branch which I've gilded. Now when I take a branch, I usually just take one side and chamfer it off so it's not round when it goes in. And I'm just going to put that firmly in there. As I said to you, I wanted Christmas type things. So down in the woodland where we walk, not far from home, last weekend, when we came across this large branch of pine, which had obviously blown down. So I picked some of it off of the branch and brought it home and put it in water. Now this will most probably last. I've done this before when we've been dog walking, and it's lasted me well up till Christmas. Do find now when we actually dog walk, the tree canopy is so high, there's no way I could get up and cut it. But they're obviously very prone to dropping their limbs. And then I said to you, Christmas to me is the holly and the ivy. So I've got some beautiful green tree ivy. I'm going to use this to cover my mechanics. I don't want to cover up that lovely holly rope that I made. And this is also starting to produce its berries. Well, what I said when I said to you, we pick these things up when we're dog walking. I've now got a dog sat at my feet. So I've said the magical word. It is a very cold and wet Saturday afternoon. So let's put a bit of sparkle into that. One little bit of the branch that broke off, I think I'm just going to put into the back of the design, just to give it a little bit more depth. And I'm going to turn that round, starting to set the scene for you. A little bit more foliage to go in, and I've got a little bit from the garden now, a little bit of the Grisselinia. Just want something a bit paler, just to lighten it a bit and show through. I love using this, and I'm ever so pleased to say now that I'm able to cut some from mine in the garden. It took a long time to get going, but this last summer it has really got going. A little bit of the lime green. And then I've entitled my demonstration, Strictly Christmas. And this is what I found down the shed, and this is what has inspired me. And it was hanging, but Richard's managed to alter it all for me, and I've got it on a post now. But we got it on a piece of square dowel, because if I put it into round, it would actually start to move. So I need to get this in quite early because it's quite big and quite dominant. And I'm just going to push down straight into the design. So that was what inspired my Strictly Christmas. And then I do think it's one of the time of the years where we can use a little bit of artificial. So along with that, I've got out of my shed, which come out each year, are these lovely gilded anthuriums. I've only got 3, they're quite large, so I'm just going to take them through the centre of the... And I quite like mixing gold and silver together. You wouldn't be able to gild real anthuriums because they don't like being the brack being touched, or the red bitters. Right, and then we have a line of the gold anthuriums. And then I also found down the shed, and I think these were bought a couple of years ago. I got a few packs of bits and pieces that I bought when Tesco's sold off their stuff after Christmas. These were actually white. They're now sprayed them silver, sprayed them with some mounting spray, and then sprinkled them with a little bit more glitter. So I wanted to take from the ball, I wanted to take the silver up into the tree, because it would be plant material, because they are a caney type of thing. So we just take the three stars down to the, bringing the silver through with the gold. And then say I've got my bunch of roses, which I showed you how to glitter. I'm sorry about the background noise, but after mentioning a certain word and it didn't get its own way, it's now gone and found a bone to chew. I don't know if you can hear that in the back of this recording. So I've used these roses before, and I've had them all over Christmas, and I've had them up to nearly 3 weeks in the hall. So just building it up now with the white roses, which have just been slightly glittered. I was very lucky when I bought these. They were doing a special offer on the roses in Tesco's, and there was 20% extra. So I've actually, for my money, I got 20 roses. So there's 20 waxed and sparkled roses to go in here. Going right round the back as well to give a bit of depth to the design. I've had the roses a few days to let them come out just a little bit. I don't like to remove all the foliage from the rose. I usually do try and leave some on. Still adding the roses and building it up. With the glitter that I put on, I have used mainly silver on it, but I did actually put a tiny bit of gold, sprinkled a tiny bit of gold into it as well. I'm going to add a few of the roses into the back. I've just got 3 left. Just to give a little bit more depth to the design. Coming right round the back. And then finally, just to finish off, I am actually just going to add a little bit of gypsophilia. I haven't sparkled this, and sometimes you can get it sparkly, but I haven't. I think there is a sort of a limit to how much sparkle we do. Had to be a little bit, do some things natural. But I do feel it is a time of the year where we can go enjoy spraying and I'm going to let the gyp come slightly up the side of my large sparkly sphere. just because I don't want, it will help to take the dominance away from it. It is quite, we've had the sphere in the lounge for several days while I've been working on this, and sometimes when the sun's just right in the morning, it has been casting shadows all around the lounge and it does make it look quite pretty. Well, thank you for joining me again on another one of these Dorset and Guernsey YouTubes, and I hope now that this might give you a little bit of inspiration, so when we come out of lockdown on the 2nd of December we can all start getting very ready for Christmas. So this is my Strictly Christmas holly, ivy, stars, glitter, and thank you very much for watching.